Hi everyone, I hope everyone's doing really well today. Another day of Florence Nightingale activities from Miss Dawson. So, hello. You would need, if you want to take part today, something to write on. You might want lined paper because one of the things that we're going to do is a sorting activity, sorting some words out. Then we've got a letter that I'd like you to have a go at writing. And then the third thing, I'm going to swap my lined paper here. I think the lines are good for the letter. Is I've got a drawing activity for you as well. So you might want a bit of plain paper if you'd like to try our drawing activity. So I'm just going to click this round and show you what I've got on my laptop for your learning today about Florence Nightingale. Hope you enjoy it. So here we go, some more Florence Nightingale activities from me. There she is, cartoon picture of Florence, the lady with the lamp, and let's see what we're going to do today. So this is an old drawing that's been done in ink, and it shows what the hospital at Scutari was like before Florence Nightingale arrived. So you might remember that the hospital at Scutari is the one that Florence went to during the Crimean War, and she was asked to go and help sort it out because it was in an absolutely terrible state. And I think if you look closely at that drawing from the time, you can see it looks pretty grim. It's not the kind of place that you would want to be getting better if you were an injured soldier. Let's have a look what happened to that ward after Florence had arrived. So this is a ward at Scutari Hospital. It might be the same one, it might be a different one in a different view. This is from a painting that was done at the time, and I think you'll agree, apart from the fact that this has got a bit of colour on it, the whole place looks a bit spick and span. It certainly looks like it's been cleaned up. So we can see, here's Florence, okay, and we've got some soldiers getting better. Here's somebody warming up by the fire. You can see lots of sunshine coming in. I'm imagining that we've got fresh air. Here's one of Florence's nurses that she's trained. Here we can see what looks like a doctor, and we've got medicines and so on. People in beds with clean sheets. It's looking like the sort of place that you might want to get better if you'd been injured as a soldier during the war. So, thinking about those two pictures that you've seen there, and the film that I showed you earlier in the week, maybe you watched the cartoon as well, I'd like you to have a go at this sorting activity. So this is called BF and AF, and that stands for before Florence and after Florence. I've asked you to do some thinking. So here's a little thinking cloud, and it says, what do you think it was like in the hospital? Was it the same before Florence and after Florence? Can you sort these words into BF, that's before Florence, and AF, after Florence? So in the middle, I've put some things for you to have a think about. These might be things that you'll be able to use in your writing activity next. And I'm going to read them down this side, and then this side. And then you can have a little think and decide, are they things that were before Florence came or things for after Florence came? You might want to write these out on some paper in a list for yourself. So going down the list, good food. Is that before Florence or after Florence came? Straw floor. Beds. New sheets. No nurses. Smelly. Fresh air. And then I'll swap hands and go up this side. We've got clean hands. I hope yours are clean too. Nurses. No beds. Clean. Dirty. Scrubbed. And rats. So have a good look at all of those words and decide, are you putting them into the before Florence side for what it was like in the hospital before Florence arrived, or are you putting them on the after Florence side? What was it like after Florence Nightingale arrived at the hospital and got things sorted? So have a little go at that. I'll leave it on screen. And then I'm going to move on and show you your next activity that you might want to do, which is a writing activity. This one is a Florence Nightingale letter. And again, I'm asking you to think about something. It says at the top, you have found out quite a lot about Florence Nightingale. Well, hopefully you have, because you've watched a film and a cartoon. And I'm hoping that you've got your mind map to use and maybe your little book that you made as well. So I'm asking you now, can you write a letter and include some facts in it? I've given you 3 ideas for a letter, but you might want to do one of your own. So it could be a letter from a soldier who got better to say thank you to Florence. Hopefully, that's going to be a soldier that stayed in the nice clean ward, isn't it? It could be a letter from Florence to her family to say what she did at the hospital at Scutari. Imagine what her face must have been like when she arrived with her team of nurses and saw the state that the wards at the hospital were in. It might be that you want to do a letter from one of the nurses who Florence trained, and you could choose who to send that to. You might send it to Florence to say thank you. You might be a nurse and sending it to your family. Maybe you were a nurse who was on the boat with her and made that journey to Scutari Hospital and helped her clean it up. I wonder what Florence was like as a boss. I think possibly she was a bossy boss. But then, having seen how dreadful and scruffy and dirty and full of rats and bacteria and infection, no clean sheets, grubby bandages, it's not really surprising that Florence and her team of nurses wanted to clean it up, is it? So, when you're writing your letter, it would be a good idea to do it on some paper. There's my lined paper from before. And you are going to start it off properly. So when we do a letter, we do dear whoever it's to, and then tell them, I am writing to you. What are you writing about? Give me some facts in your letter. And then at the end, remember to put who it's from. Do it in your best handwriting, and maybe someone can take a photograph of it and you can send it in and it might feature on our website. I know that Mrs. Gachette and Mr. Daines are having lots of fun posting your things, and I was amazed to see Jude Kay's brilliant mind map of facts about Florence Nightingale. That was absolutely fantastic work, Jude. Well done. Let's see what our next activity is that you might want to do. If you don't fancy doing a letter, maybe you'd like to do a drawing. So I'm asking you to think, can you have a go and draw this? Let me zoom in on it for you. So this is called the Nightingale Jewel, okay? And it's really, really quite special. It tells you here in the description, only soldiers got medals in those days. And so Queen Victoria had this brooch called the Nightingale Jewel made specially for Florence as a badge of royal appreciation. It's engraved with a dedication from Queen Victoria that says, to Miss Florence Nightingale, as a mark of esteem and gratitude for her devotion towards the Queen's brave soldiers from Victoria R, 1855. And that was really quite a special something. Nobody had ever had anything like that before. But Florence helped to look after the Queen's soldiers and help people to get better. And because she was a lady, and she wasn't a soldier, and she was just a civilian, which means that she wasn't in the army, she wasn't allowed to get a medal, and the Queen thought that she had to do something special. So the Queen's husband helped to design this special brooch called the Nightingale Jewel, and it was made by the Queen's jewellers who made her crowns and so on. And then she had those special words put on the back. This bit here, where it says Victoria R, you can see those letters VR are in the middle of the badge, and those stand for Victoria Regina, which means in Latin Queen Victoria. It's also got some words on it, okay? Crimea. I think after the last few days you're going to know why it says Crimea on it. And it says, blessed are the merciful. So It's got some really good colours and some good patterns on here. Stars and the ribbon and the red and white cross. I think you might be able to guess why it's got a red and white cross as well, might you? Where else might you see a red and white cross? Think about what Florence's job was. So if you'd like to have a go at drawing the Nightingale jewel and maybe colouring it in, again, I'm sure that Mrs. Gachette and Mr. Daines would love to see your photographs being sent in of your drawings. Maybe you could paint it or colour it. That's it from me. I hope you're going to stay safe, and I shall catch up with you tomorrow for our last day, where I've got something else for you to do. A bit Florence Nightingale themed. Thank you, everybody. Bye.